The men's 100 meter heats at the Olympics are officially over. And if you're anything like me, you got up incredibly early in the United States to try to actually watch the races. Going into the event, most people thought we already knew what was about to happen. Notice I said we, because I'm including myself in that. However, this is the Olympics. And if you were paying attention at the last one, the men's 100 meter dash is wide open because Usain Bolt and nobody who even has close to his amount of talent is in the field. And after watching the first round heats, it is abundantly clear we don't know who's about to win. Noah Lyles and Kishane Thompson both came into the event as favorites. One because he's the reigning world champion, and the other because he's the fastest man in the world this year on the clock. But none of that actually matters once you step up to the line, because when you do, your reputation is on the line with it. And in the preliminary heats, there were some people whom you probably have no idea who they are, who ran incredibly fast. So I am going to break down what actually happened in the 100 meter heats, not just what they told you, because if anybody tells you that they know for certain who will win the 100 meter dash final, for that matter, if they even have a good idea of who's gonna be in that final, they are probably lying to you. And I'm going to explain why. The only way that I know how to break this down is using my understanding of what the heats are actually for. You are supposed to win your heat, for the most part. And if you don't, you're supposed to run incredibly fast, because the heats are going to be imbalanced as they spread the talent out. So you're basically running a time trial. It's not a competitive race yet. That's what the semifinal is for. So in order to get a better idea of how the men stacked up, I put all of their times into a wind gauge calculator, equalizing it to 0 wind. And then I organized them from slowest up to the fastest. And spoiler alert, Noah Lyles and Kishane Thompson are not at the top of the list. And I apologize in advance to any sprinter who did qualify for the semis, who I'm going to ignore right now. I'm focusing on all the names that have at least a prayer of making the final. It all starts with Ferdinand Omanyala of Kenya, who ran 10.09 converted. It's the slowest time that I'm going to reference from this point going forward, but he did actually win his heat, which is more than I can say for some people going forward. And the only other slow time I'm going to mention is Andre DeGrasse of Canada, who went 10.08 converted, but he is also an Olympic champion in the 200, so we can't ignore him. But Sean Maswanganyi of South Africa went 10.05 converted. And we will come back to that in a moment, because he was third in his heat. But Jarnell Hughes of Great Britain went 10.04, yet he wasn't in the same heat as Lamont Martho Jacobs of Italy, Abdul Rashid Saminu of Ghana, and Benjamin Richardson of South Africa. They all ran between 10.03 and 10.04, and those three were in the same heat. And what nobody watching actually expected is what I'm about to tell you right now, that Noah Lyles of the USA did not win his preliminary heat. Yes, he qualified, but he only ran 10.03 converted. That was not the plan. You're supposed to win your heat when you're a favorite to win the whole thing. And it also makes you wonder, who was it who actually beat him? And I'll tell you who that is in a moment. But on the other hand, Jamaica's Kishane Thompson actually did win his heat. He ran 10.03 converted as well. But that's not the same when you are in the front of the race. He is supposed to be up there, because like I said, he's the other favorite. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. When you consider that I just described 2 men as the favorites, and I've still got a bunch more names to go through, this is where things get very interesting, because Letsile Tebogo of Botswana and Abdul Hakim Sani Brown of Japan both ran 10.02 converted, and they didn't win their heats. But Kayinsola Ajayi of Nigeria actually did win his heat, and he ran what would have been an even 10 flat if we converted it. He was running in college this whole past season. And then the fast men from Jamaica went back to back with Akkeem Blake and Oblique Seville, both winning their heats in 9.99 converted. And one more man that I'm sure you have no idea about is Emmanuel SMA of Cameroon. He ran 9.99 converted, even though he didn't technically win his heat. But people like him is what the Olympics are actually for. So the final four names go like this: Kenny Bednarek and Fred Kerley of America. Both took care of business and they won their heats in what would have been 9.98 converted. They have the talent to not only get to the final, but get medals when they are there, including the men who were the favorites that we described a while ago. And the name I'm sure you've been waiting for is who actually beat Noah Lyles in his heat. It was Louie Hinchliffe of Great Britain. He was the NCAA champion this past season, and he went 9.97 converted. I'm not saying that he's going to be in that final and get a medal, but what I am saying is the only way you're keeping him out of it is if you can run incredibly fast, and now Noah Lyles has found it out. And the one man all the way at the top of the leaderboards, I personally owe an apology to, Akani Simbine of South Africa. He went 9.96 converted, the fastest thing we saw on the clock. And that means he clearly has his mind on not only getting to the final, but getting a medal once he's there. I totally understand that we should expect to see fast times in the semifinals, but what the preliminary rounds just taught us is that nobody is clearing away better than the field. If they were, they would have ran clear away from the field, at least decimating their heat. Nobody pulled away like that. And for the two favorites, Kishane Thompson of Jamaica and especially Noah Lyles of America, they now know who exactly they need to beat to not only get to the final, but get the gold medal, because it's the only thing that most people recognize. This is the sport of track and field, where if you're not first, then you're last. And that is exactly how everybody's gonna see it when we watch the final tomorrow. But as far as the 100-meter heat's concerned, Noah Lyles should be glad that we suspended that rule for right now. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.